Today is all about figuring out why your snake is constantly going at you and trying to bite you and getting your snake from snappy to happy, so stick around. My name is Nick Pulaski. Growing up, I have always had a passion for wildlife, and with that passion, along with my passion of filmmaking, I get taken on some amazing adventures creating wildlife content, getting up close with a variety of incredible animals. So come follow along as I pursue my goals of educating, inspiring, exploring, and conserving wildlife, all while having fun, seeing the beauty in our natural world. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me here today. So kind of a quick topic we're going to go over today, but I think it's one that I constantly get asked over and over and over, and I think it's just easier just to make a video truthfully about this. And down the line, I will definitely make a more in-depth version of this topic, but I wanted to make a more consolidated version to kind of send out to people that constantly have this question of what to do when they first get, say, a new pet baby snake, and how to work with that animal in a certain way to make sure that that animal is comfortable and confident being handled. Not only just the animal being confident about being handled, but you also being confident in handling the animal and not being afraid of getting bitten. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to be talking about that in the most basic of ways, revolving around the most common species that are kept currently, which one of them being the ball python. So we're going to talk about this, and this is an adult male ball python right here, and he is looking great and super placid, as you can see right here. Very easy to handle, no issues of aggression whatsoever. I can run my hand over this animal, I can wave it in front of him. I'm not going to have to worry about him whatsoever. That does not mean though that he is full-on bulletproof and he's never going to bite me, right? You always have to have that respect for these animals because they are living things. They do get scared, they do have a hunger food response, they do have their days of aggression just in general, or for whatever reason you may have spooked them or this, that, or the other, and they may lash out at you. You know, they're not going to be completely fully placid, puppy dog tame. They can have their moments, you know. So I mean, it's just one of those things you just have to be aware of, but it's not necessarily something that's going to be like crazy that this animal is going to constantly be something that I'm constantly worrying about, where this animal is constantly trying to bite me or anything like that. Very mellow, very easy to work with. I can run my hand right across its head and it's very confident with me, and it knows that I'm not going to be bothering it or hurting it or harming it in any sort of way. But this took a while to do. You know, this isn't something that just happens overnight. You want to make sure that you're gaining that confidence with this animal. So on the other side of things as well too, in this video we are also going to be talking about baby snakes as well, and how they do have more of a protective, defensive side, along with a really good food response as well, where they're constantly snapping at anything. That's something that can be encountered more commonly with a baby snake, and we're going to talk about that as well too, so stick around for that part as well. But since we're kind of doing this video in like a reverse order here, I'm kind of showing you the aftermath of all this process right here. So you have this animal right here that's super mellow, very curious, not going to be an issue for you most of the time. And the biggest way to get this kind of outcome is time and patience, really. It's not something, again, that's going to happen overnight. It's going to be something that's going to have to, one, develop inside of you in terms of your confidence level in handling an animal and making sure that you're handling it properly, so it knows that it's going to be handled properly and not have to be in a defensive state where it fears for its life of being dropped or being squashed or some sort of thing, or becoming a food item. You know, they don't understand that you are just trying to pick it up just to admire it. They're just trying to figure out, okay, what's going on in this situation? Is this going to be a good situation for me? Basically, what is my game plan in this situation when you are handling it? And they're just going to kind of read those scenarios. Based on your body disposition and other different types of things, it's going to be able to kind of pick up on those kind of factors as well too. So it's just one of those things where you just got to be more calm. You got to get used to these types of emotions and what to do in certain scenarios to make sure that you know confidently, to the best of your ability, what to do to make sure that you are handling the animal the best possible way possible. I have raised this animal from a baby itself, and how did we get this animal to be something that's super mellow to this day? Well, like I said, takes a lot of time and patience for sure, but besides time and patience, it also takes a really solid feeding regime regime, I would say, along with handling every now and then. You know, you don't want to necessarily pick these guys up constantly and constantly handling them, because that can be stressful as well too for certain animals. Depending on certain animals too, I mean, some can be more tolerable of being handled than others, and you really just want to basically find a happy medium of doing those types of things and not handling for excessive periods of time, but also making it worthwhile while it's an experience for you to make sure that you are handling the animal properly. Because as long as you are doing those types of things, they are going to pick up on that over time as well too, and they are going to be more confident in you handling them. It's not one of those things where these animals, like other species of animals like dogs or cats, will have that affection response to you in a way necessarily like a dog or a cat would. They are more so just inclined to figure out if they are in danger or if they are safe. So as long as you are picking up on handling experiences that are positive, it's going to go more than likely in a positive route for you and the animal involved. So those are the things and the threads, as Kevin McCurley from Nerd would say, that you want to kind of build between you and the animal to build that sort of bond between you guys. So a good food response, handling for proper amounts of time, along with time being a factor itself. The other big thing as well too is also what your setup is like for your animal and your care for your animal is like as well too, because that is a big factor as well. The environment that the animal is in, if they are stressed out, they are not going to want to be interacted with whatsoever. If you are stressed out, you don't want to be bothered necessarily as well too. Animals basically have those similar types of needs for their care and those triggers that can also be set off if things are not set up properly for these animals. So you want to make sure that you're setting these animals up for the most success possible in terms of their husbandry and care. If you combine all those things, basically that is going to be the proper culmination of curating a great relationship in terms of handling your animal to get to a point like this right here. And he's sitting so well right now. I just love this guy to death. He's great. This is also my clown pied male. I didn't mention that at the beginning right here. So this is Nemo, my clown pied male. But also too, I want to hear from your experiences as well. Now let me know down in the comments as well too if there are things that you also believe should be talked about as well too, in terms of how to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success with handling animals. I want to hear those comments down below as well. So now we've been talking about an animal that's super placid, super mellow, and working with this animal, this is the result that you get. I want to bring out a baby right now that gives me a little bit of run for my money right now, and perfect time to do it while we have fresh babies out of the egg, more recently hatched babies right out of the egg I should say, and that are doing well and more toned down than when they first came out of the egg and they were just striking at everything possible, including my hand. This hand was lit up multiple times from this snake in particular, and that's okay. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes that just means a really high feeding response, which turned out to be true with this animal. So let me pull out this animal right now and we'll switch gears to the baby side of things. Right here, like I said, we have this little tiny dude, and this is my banana 100% heifer pied that came out of a recent clutch, and this one was crazy. I mean, this one, if we were talking about a month and a half ago or so, this one would be turning around right now and trying to snap in my face. This one I was not even able to pick up necessarily without it trying to just turn around and strike at me. Now, because this animal is still super young, obviously it has had experience in handling, but it has not had a tremendous ton of experience in handling versus a snake that's 3-4 years old. So this animal is just still starting off, still gaining that kind of experience and still building on those threads where it's improving, but it's still not 100% where it could still definitely want to take a chomp at me if it wanted to. So like I said earlier, I mean, snakes can have a really solid food response straight out of the egg where they are constantly snapping at anything that moves and they want to get that food inside them. And this one definitely fits that bill perfectly. This was one of those animals that just takes no matter what I throw in front of it. And this animal, obviously I'm not overloading this animal with a whole bunch of food. That is not the proper way to do those types of things. I'm giving it properly sized meals that it would need. But again, kind of goes back to that time factor. As long as you are just slow growing these animals, making sure you're building those threads of trust with these animals and those experiences with these animals, they tone down and tame down pretty darn quick. I mean, this animal right now is not trying to set off to bite me or anything. This animal is totally chill right now, and he's just being a curious little snake right now and just totally checking the world out. And that's where we want these animals to be. We want these animals to not be feeling like they need to be in full-on alert mode and feeling like they're in threatened danger or anything like that. We want to make sure that these animals, like you also, we want to make sure you and the animal is completely calm in any interaction that you do with this animal, whether it's just to spot clean and take care of the animal and its care and its husbandry and its enclosure, or if you're simply just trying to take the animal out and enjoy the beauty that the animal is itself and just handle the animal on a one-to-one basis. That's also something that we just want to make sure the interaction between you and the animal is completely calm and relaxed. So yeah, if I did this segment, like I said, about a month and a half ago, this animal would be lighting me up on the camera, which I know a lot of people would be flipping out about and freaking out about. So I figured let's do this video kind of in that early stage process where the animal is still in the process of growing and getting older, but not having too much experience under its belt with handleability. And this is what you get so far with that kind of thing. The proof is in the pudding, guys. As long as you can do those types of things, these animals will tone down, where I literally just picked this animal up, no problems whatsoever. Now, you just have to kind of go in there with full confidence, making sure that you're handling the animal, not playing around with it and trying to just like occasionally try to scoop it and then just kind of get chickened out and kind of skip over those types of things and just be like, okay, forget it, I'm not doing it. Because I get it, it can be scary, but you just got to go in there with utmost confidence and handle your animals. Instead of toying with the animal and stressing the animal out more, if you can get to that point where you can just pick up the animal and handle it with confidence, that is the best way to do that. So how do you do those types of things as well too? First option is you could get gloves. So gloves can be a great little barrier between your hand and the snake. Obviously, a small little snake like this, I know people are afraid. They can draw a little bit of blood. It's not going to be anything too crazy or anything like that. It honestly feels like Velcro just kind of flicks you, and then you just kind of get a little bit of blood that just kind of drips out of your hand, if we're referring to ball pythons. Obviously, different species have different bite forces and different things like that, but babies overall, normally for more commonly kept snakes, are not going to give you a bite that's going to cause any problems for you. So keep that in mind with more commonly kept snakes. The other thing you could also invest in is also a snake handling hook. So if you invested in one of those, very easy to find, but using a properly sized snake hook is something that could definitely benefit you in the long run as well too, where you could pick up the animal with ease and then eventually transition it over to your hand as well too. That is something that is great practice as well, and I highly recommend those. And as this video has been going on, this snake has just kind of been sprawling out and just kind of exploring all around me, which is really cool to see. And that's what we're striving for here, is animals that are doing those types of behaviors to make sure that we're helping with those experiences and those interactions for the future owners of these animals as well too. So that's why we're doing these types of things as well. But there it is, guys, kind of a more brief summarized video of this topic. I know there's so much more we can go over and more live demonstrations that we can go over as well too, but I just wanted to go and show from how it ends to how it begins with these animals, and kind of a little bit of in between in some types of way as well too, to kind of show that living proof with these animals that it can be done. I promise you. I know it can be stressful, but we have all been there, I can promise you. But once you get that experience down, it's all going to be easy and water under the bridge for sure. So just keep at it, keep working with your animal in proper increments of time and respect their space and boundaries as well too, and you should be good to go. But thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Like I said, please leave some suggestions down below as well to this brief video on this topic, so we can all start learning from each other in these videos. That's what we're here to do. So we're all here to help each other out in this reptile community on this channel and throughout. So please share your thoughts and ideas below as well too. But also, guys, if you could do me a few favors, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it, as well as hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Definitely check us out on our social media as well too. I would greatly appreciate that. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, we will see you guys soon. Take care.